Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulina wa sahbihi man wala. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. Ameen. So in this video, I want to briefly address the spiritual dimensions of LGBT. It is a widespread topic, I think, in America of late, and in many other Western countries, and in time I think it will spread around to some other parts of the world. So I think it's a very important issue to address, and there are many people who have questions about it, who have these doubts and stuff. And inshallah, I want to offer some clarity, inshallah, and offer hopefully some help. I apologize for the informality of this. I'm about to go for like a run or a walk. So getting ready for my morning exercise. Apologize for the informality of it, but maybe it will offer a more relaxing atmosphere anyways. Also, I'm not very good at videography, so I apologize for that too. Okay, so there's a few things to know. The first is, who are you? What is a person? What is a human being? A lot of this ties into knowing Allah and knowing yourself. So know Allah and know yourself, and you'll be much more resilient to doubts and confusions. So, who are you? That's what I will address. My other videos, you can learn about Allah. Reading the Quran, studying Aqidah, you can learn about Allah. In this video, I mainly want to talk about who are you. That's the part I want to address here. So every human being has a soul, okay? And the heart is a doorway to the soul. So what is the heart? You have a physical heart and you have a spiritual heart. So I'm talking now about the spiritual heart, okay? Your physical heart, we all know what it is. It pumps blood, has 4 chambers, these things, okay? The spiritual heart, most people are completely uneducated about, and that's a big problem. Especially Muslims are very uneducated about as well, and that's also a challenge, and they should learn. Whoever you are, you should learn about your heart. It will help you a lot in your relationship with the Lord. So in your heart, you have different parts to it. You have a nafs. What is a nafs? It's often translated as the lower self. You also have a mind, as we know. You have an aql, an intellect. And in this heart, you also have the doorway to the soul. I've also heard another, Dr. Ibn Jaffi, who is a medical doctor and like a Sufi healer. And he also says, has stated that in the heart, there's sort of like several subtle personalities, and one of them kind of rises to the top, and that's like your personality of the moment. They're very similar, I think, but perhaps if somebody has something like bipolar, maybe one of them is another extreme or something. I'm not sure about that, but a bit off topic, sorry. But point being, your heart has different parts, okay? You also have what's called the Fitrah. The Fitrah is, it's often translated as your nature or your primordial nature. It's a nature that that Allah created you in, okay? Now, everybody's Fitrah has one religion, that is Islam. Islam is the religion of the Fitrah, okay? Everybody's soul wants one religion, and that is Islam. Everybody's soul wants Islam, okay? Now, when it comes to the other parts, though, the mind, the aql, the nafs, okay? When you have intense emotion or hatred or disgust, it's so disgusting, blah blah. You know, when you have these intense things, these are the nafs. These are from the nafs. Okay. Now the nafs is not very reliable. It's not exactly the most trustworthy thing there is in the world. Okay. It can tell you to, eat 100 cookies and then regret it. It can tell you all kinds of things. It can sometimes tell you good things too. So it can have different states. It can give you different suggestions. So be careful with the thoughts you have. Not all of them are true. Not all of them are even from yourself. Okay. We also know from Islam that around the heart is the sadr, the chest. Okay? When you're in a vulnerable state, meaning without God's protection or without, or I guess there's levels of God's protection, but when you're not with God, basically, and you don't have protections from Him, which can happen to anybody, but the more careful you are about your environment and your life and so on, you can reduce this as much as possible. Or if you have other mental health issues or terrible sins that you have not stopped and repented from, it can leave you more susceptible to what we call waswasah, whisperings from Satan. Okay? So there are different sources of thoughts. One of them is Satan. Okay? Now Satan is one of the jinn, and other jinn that follow him, we generally call them shayateen, Satans. You could say like the plural of that in English. Okay? So these shayateen, they go around, they just kind of drop a darkness and they leave. It's usually something quick and then they leave and it's triggering and they try to usually go through the nafs, okay? So the nafs is completely under control. The waswasah generally stops. When you're in God's presence, when God is with you and you're with Him, generally the waswasah stops, okay? These whisperings stop, which is a good thing. You don't want to listen to them. They hate you. It's always evil. It's always dark. It's never helpful. They want to destroy the person. That's all they're doing. They're your enemy. Whoever you are, every human being, they're your enemy. They want people to go to hell. In the end, they want to destroy people. They want to ruin their mental health and so on. When people have schizophrenia, it's always waswasahs involved one way or another. Which is one reason why, if you study schizophrenia and you meet enough of them and you read books by certain people about it, there's a psychotherapist who has a book about it, for example, and you'll notice that they all get pretty much the same thoughts. It's strange. He's like, he says if the mainstream narrative in psychology is that your brain is broken and it's giving you random thoughts and it's all coming from your own brain, and he says, why are they all getting the same thoughts? They're all saying the same thing. It's all bad, terrible, nasty stuff. It's always, I'm gonna murder you, blah blah blah. It's always like satanic, it's demonic. It's blatantly demonic, like what they're getting, like all of them. If you talk to enough schizophrenics, you'll notice this. Like they all report almost very similar symptoms. It's because it's waswasah, it's demonic. And now there's different etiologies to why they're getting so much waswasah and why it's so bad and so on. Maybe they broke a part of their aql, or there's chemical problems in their brain. These things can leave them more susceptible to it. Also, your own thoughts and beliefs can open the doors for them to give you more, right? The things you think about can lead you to getting more, right? That's why you don't watch horror movies and things. It can just open the door for more of that nonsense to come in. The things they say, it's all nonsense, okay? And they want to confuse people, okay? So when it comes to things like people talk about gender dysphoria and these things, it's generally all waswasah. It's waswasah. They come in, they poke you, they poke your nafs, they poke your mind, they put false beliefs in you, they tell you things, they lie to you, about who you are. It's all lies. It's not who you are, okay? So everybody's fitrah and everybody's soul has one gender, and it's not LGBT either. Okay, meaning it's not attracted to the same gender or anything of that sort. That's not the soul. That's not how the soul is. That's not you. Okay, it's a lie about you that some people choose to believe. Now, for some people, it can be challenging. They don't want it. A lot of people don't want it, really. And if you talk to LGBT people, a lot of them, they don't want it. They're like, I don't want this. This is a struggle. I'm trying to get out of this. And they can, and many do. Okay, you can get out of this. This is curable. That's another thing. It's another lie that some people say is that, oh, it's incurable. You're always this way. This is who you really are. It needs to become your new identity. Blah 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 blah. That's a recruitment tool. This is not to help you. This is not helping you because it's a lie. It's not true. It's not true. And there's many things. I'm running out of time already. But there's many things you can do to verify this as well. But I don't have time to get into these videos. The big one, though, is just making dua, asking Allah, Ya Allah, who am I? You can also ask Allah regarding your fitrah, regarding your soul. You can ask Allah, Ya Allah, give me my pure fitrah. Purify you can say, Zaki nafsi, oh Allah, purify my nafs. Right? There's different du'as you can make. Another is, ati nafsi, taqwaha, wa zakiha, wa anta khayru man zakaha, anta waliyuha mawlaha. Oh Allah, give my nafs its taqwa, its fear and carefulness about obeying God. Taqwa is being careful to obey God. and to avoid disobeying Him. Everybody needs it. I need it. Okay? Pray that I get more. Okay? Everybody needs it. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants more. Okay? وَزَكِّهَا وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا, and purify it, and you are the best of those to purify it. Okay? And there's a lesson here that Allah is the one who purifies. Okay? And Allah only wants good for you. All good comes from Allah. نُثْنِي عَلَيْكَ الْخَيْرَ كُلَّهُ, we attribute all goodness to you. وَشَرُّ لَيْسَ إِلَيْكَ, and all evil is not attributed to you. So any evil, any harm you see in the creation, okay, it's truly caused by the creation. It's not attributed to God. God creates it, Allah creates it, but it's because of a choice of the creation, like these shayateen, for example, giving you waswasah. Okay. So know that that is not your identity. No matter who lies to you, that is no one's identity. It's not true. It's a lie. Okay. Nobody's soul is LGBT. Nobody's fitrah is LGBT. Okay. So when the nafs and the mind start to believe these things, though, you wind up in shak, in doubt, in confusion. Okay. So you want to rectify these things. When you get all of this back in line, you get your nafs pure again, you get your mind cleared of incorrect ideas and beliefs, you get your soul, but you get more of your soul in your heart. These things can go away. Allah can remove them. Know that Allah can remove these problems. He can remove these doubts and show you who you truly are. And everybody, whoever you are, wants to know who you truly are. That's getting to your soul, getting to the reason God created you. That is what everybody wants, whoever you are. Okay? So it's all part of your journey. It's a trial, it's a test, but think of it as temporary. It's not a permanent thing, it's temporary. Think that this can be removed, and have a good opinion of God always. Avoid evil opinions of God. That's one thing that Satan does. He comes and gives you evil opinions of God. Okay? So have a good opinion of God, and think that, you know what, one day Allah will remove this and take me out of this trial and tribulation. It could be today, it could be the next moment. It could be a prayer. Just one prayer and it could be boom, gone. Right? Some other prayers that I can think of kind of putting together intellectually. Now, these are not from the Sunnah, but you can ask Him to purify your fitrah, to clear your fitrah. You can ask Him to clear your nafs. You can ask Him to clear your mind. You can ask Him to clear your heart. You can ask Him, take me to a safe place. You can ask Him for good companionship. You can ask Him for these things. Hang around good spiritual people, and that will help your heart, right? Because there's sort of like, you know, and anybody who's gone into energy healing and they start to sense energies a bit, they'll notice that there's different energies that are good and there are different energies that are not so good for you, right? Getting into a good, pure environment is very good for healing from anything. Any physical ailment, any mental illness, any challenge, any bad thoughts, anything. It's good to be around good energy, good people, good spiritual people. So find good friends, stick around good friends, okay? The best Muslims you can find, hang around them, okay? I know you don't have to tell everybody that I'm this, I'm that, I'm blah, blah, blah. You don't have to tell everybody that. Know that it is temporary, that this will go away anyways, inshallah. And never stop seeking the cure until it's gone. Okay, because Allah sent down the cure for every disease except death. This is part of our aqidah, that we believe this. This is true. This is true. Allah sent down the cure for every disease except death. I don't care how many doctors say otherwise. Oh, this is incurable. Chronic pain can only be managed. It can't be cured. These are lies. They don't know. They don't have Islamic theology. They have they have certain backgrounds and forces influencing them. You can study the pharmaceutical industry, you know, big pharma, whatever. Running out of time here, but point being, they don't know. They don't know. Okay. And there's also a ton of money in certain drugs, so you know it's very lucrative to not cure people in the West. You know. So don't believe these false ideas that are spreading around from the West. Don't believe that. Every disease is curable except death. Okay. And know that, yes, God can remove this, Allah can remove this, He can give you more protection. You can use some divine names as well for more protection. You can say, Ya Hafiz, the protector, the preserver. Another is the one who prevents harm, Al Mani', Ya Mani', you can say that. The guide, Al Hadi, Ya Hadi, Ya Hadi, Ya Hadi. You can say that, it's a very good one. I always need more guidance. Pray that I get more guidance. Everybody wants to increase in guidance. That's a good thing. It doesn't matter who you are. You can say, Yes Salam, Yes Salam, Yes Salam. The one who gives peace and wholeness, completeness. When you have As Salam, you are whole, you're complete. You know, health is part of it too. Also peace as well, of course. And also just saying, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge in God from Satan the outcast. Okay? And also saying, Allahumma ma'i, Allah, be with me. That's a good one. Be with God. And you can also put your hand over your heart. And you can say things to your heart. You can say, be still. Be still. You can say to your heart, be still. Try it now. Be still. Just say, be still. It was created to obey you. Okay? So every human being is composed of a heart and limbs, right? So everything you move is called a limb. We're not talking about the 4 limbs, like in medical terminology. These limbs are basically everything you can move. So your mouth, your nose, your ears, your 5 senses, all of these are like the limbs of the heart, okay? So your heart is where you're making decisions and such. It's moving things. So everybody will be questioned about what they did with their limbs. So be wise, avoid sin, do good things, do pure things, put good things in the heart. Don't look at evil things. Don't look at sinful things. Don't look at impure things. It's not good for you. It's not good for your heart. Put good things in your heart. You can also ask God, Allah, for His light. One of His names is An-Nur, the light. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. When you have His light, you're going to see more and more of reality as it is. Okay? So another thing about terms and definitions and language is that we want our language to capture the reality God is creating. Because God creates reality in every moment. He is Al-Haq, the one true reality. That's another name that's good for you, is Al-Haq. You have that name, you understand more of reality as it is. Okay? And the Sufis love the name Al-Haq. They love that name, Al-Haq, the one true reality. So the closer you are to Allah, the more truth you have. When all the darkness is gone, it's all His light. There's no more falsehood. Okay, so you want to get rid of the darkness and bring in the light. Okay, so you can ask Allah for His light. Rabbi zidni nuran, oh Allah, increase me in light. That is a masnoon dua. That's a dua from the Prophet ﷺ. Okay, so in total, there's 4 types of inspirations that come into the heart and the chest, okay? The one I talked about is the waswasah, the darkness. It's false, it's lies. They tell you lies about yourself and try to make you confused. And they try to bring you away from God and away from the truth. 2 is from the nafs. The nafs will tell you things. I'm hungry, eat another cookie, okay? These are kind of lower things. Other things it may tell you are like, give me more dhikr. Like, I really like that. Go to God. Be with Him. He's really good. Or she is very good. Be around her more. And the heart will tell you things too. If you listen to your heart, you can tell your mind, slow down and listen to the heart. Be informed by the heart. You can say this to your mind. It's very good. Sometimes we're very much in our minds and we're not listening to our hearts. A lot of times we think, oh no, the heart is going to tell me this, it's going to tell me that. That's not the heart. That is not your heart. If it's something evil, that's not your heart. Your heart doesn't tell you those things. That's from the nafs, or from waswasah, from dark waswasah. That is not the heart, okay? At least to my knowledge. The heart generally is going to tell you, give me good things, put light in here, I need more of God, be around good people. That guy, you should hang out with him more. He's very pious, he's full of light, be with him, That's what the heart tells you. The heart will tell you, don't overeat. It generally tells you good things, really. But most people aren't listening to it, okay? So listen to the heart. Be informed by your heart. It'll help you a lot. And whoever you are, no matter who you are, this is very beneficial for you, no matter who you are. So the advice I'm giving, by the way, is good general advice for everyone. This is general education, really, about who people are, because people don't know anymore. There's so much lies, there's so much nonsense out there. People forget. And that's one of the goals of Satan, is he wants you to forget who God is, and then even forget yourself. And then you really lose. But you can always come back. You can always repent. God will always take you back, remove the evil, have a good opinion of God. No matter how bad the situation is, Allah can get you out. Okay? وَمَا يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. And whoever has taqwa of Allah, is mindful of obeying God and not disobeying Him, He will make for them a way out. Okay? And I've seen things in my life, which, doctors said this is incurable, this is incurable, all this disease. I've heard all kinds of crazy things, and God took me out. Allah took me out, really. You'd be amazed. And if you hear other people's stories, there's all kinds of stories in the world of Allah taking people out of terrible situations. These miracles happen all the time. Especially if you go to the Muslim world, you'll meet some people in some places. It's not an uncommon thing that miracles happen, or that people are interacting with angels and these things. It's not in the West, where there's so much secularism and the disenchantment of Europe and all of these these, I'm running out of time, all these problems, right? It seems more far-fetched or less uncommon, but it's actually not. It's actually not. Even in America, too, a lot of people have amazing experiences. So believe Allah can take you out, whatever your situation is, whoever you are, okay? So those are the bottom two, the two kind of bad ones, okay? Now, regarding the nafs, they can have different states. They can have lower states, they can have good states. So you want the nafs to stay in a good state, and you want to avoid dropping into a lower state, okay? So the two lower states, the lowest one is a nafs al-amara bisu, the nafs that commands you to do evil, tells you to steal or do some sin. That's when your nafs listened to the waswasah, the darkness, and then it started believing it. They're just lies. Sin never gets you anything. There's nothing good in it. It's a lie. It's based on lies. You don't gain by stealing. You lose. You lose. It's not for you. That wasn't for you. Allah has for every human being their provision provided for them. Seek it from a good source. Do things right. Okay. Regarding sexuality, God created a permissible way to do it. That's getting married to the opposite gender, and that's where it is for you. Okay, and unlike Christians who kind of like some Christians, not all, some Christians who have like a strange, like a strange, almost like embarrassment about it or something. Like it's a private thing. It's only between you and your spouse, but it's a good thing actually. Allah gave this to us. It's a gift from Him. It's a good thing to do this. It's actually good. You earn good deeds by doing it the right way. You earn good deeds, really. This will benefit you in the afterlife. And it's how we procreate. It's how we create children, and so how more children come into this world, rather. Their souls already exist, and they're waiting to be born. But that's how people come into this world, is through that, right? Now, doing things right, doing things God's way, is good for you, okay? And Satan wants to take that away from you. He wants to take us away from God's way into evil ways, into ways that are not permitted by Him. He wants you to disobey Allah, right? So you ignore this. If it's nafs al-amara bisu, you be silent, don't speak, do not act upon it, and make dua. Ask Allah to take you out of this. He can easily move it. He controls your nafs in reality. Okay, He can move it in any state He wants. Allah is the one who puts you into states. And part of it are the consequences of our actions, and part of it is His mercy. He can just take you out. Yeah, Allah, give me your mercy. Have mercy on me. I need mercy. We all need His mercy. Without His mercy, nobody goes into heaven, into paradise, right? So that's the waswasah and the nafs. The third here is God's angels, and the fourth is ilham from Allah, inspiration from Allah. Okay, so the awliya, the saints of God, they look with the light of Allah. Their hearts are full of His light. They have a lot of beneficial knowledge. They know God. They're arifin, the knowers of God, right? And they look with the light of Allah. So some of them can see a lot, and they can see into a person, and some of them can see a person's true self. They can see in there who you really are, and then some of them know you better than you know your own self. Like some of these murshids, they know you better than you know your own self. And if you need big help, go to the murshids. They will give you big help, as long as they're legit. Do never go to the false ones, but the legit ones, they will give you huge help, and they'll never ask you for money. They just love to help. Why? Because one of Allah's names is An-Nasr. If you need help, just say, Ya Allah, Ya Nasr, Ya Nasr. Another one of His names is An-Nasir. Basically, very similar meanings. They both mean the one who helps. Anybody who helps you, it's in reality God's help. Okay, as long as it's in a good thing. And that's God helping you. He will help you. He'll help you get out of a bad situation. He'll help you with your health. He'll help you with your financial problems. Allah will help you. You need help, say, Ya Allah, Ya Nasr, Ya Nasr, help us, help me. You can ask Him, and He will send help to you. You can actually try it. Just say, Ya Allah, help me, help me, help me. Please help me. Send someone to help me. You can ask Him. He actually will. Believe it. And the biggest help is these murshids. They have strong help from God in them, and they will help you. Whatever your situation, they will help you. As long as you're sincere to them and have a good opinion of them and a good opinion of God, anything is possible. So with four things, anything is possible. Number one is a sound intention. Okay? A sound intention. I want to obey God. I want to do this for the sake of God. This is a sound intention. Okay? Number two is al-yaqeen billah, certainty in God. Number three, husn dhann billah, a good opinion of God. Number four, himma, high aspirations. Okay? You have a sickness, you aspire to that God will cure you of it and have a good opinion of Him. When you pray to Him, have certainty that He hears you, and that He answers you, and He really does. Okay? As long as you're praying directly to Him, He answers you. Okay? Inshallah, He answers you. So another thing is that in heaven, there's no illness. Okay, there's no darkness. There's no waswasah. It's all light. It's all good. Okay, so there's no LGBT issues in heaven. Somebody who struggled with it can go to heaven, but they will not have that problem in heaven. Everybody is heterosexual in heaven. Okay, there's no transgender in heaven. There's no confusions. There's no doubts about your gender in heaven. None of that exists. After you die, there's none of that actually, either in the barzakh and so on. None of that exists in the next world, and none of that existed in the world before this when you were just a soul. Nobody had those problems. Okay, they're only problems in this world. This world is the world of the test, sickness and illness, and these things, they only exist in this world. Okay. In the next world, those things do not exist. So that's another proof for you to know that this is not who I am. Okay, and do not put that in your identity. I do not think this is my new identity. No, it's not. It never is, and it never was. And if you say it is, you're just lying to your own self. You're only lying to yourself. Do not believe it. Okay, it's not true. Okay, that's not what your soul wants you to do. It's not true. It's not true about your own soul. It's not true about your fitrah either. And these are all in you. And it's just wait. And people who have these issues, those things, they're either struggling against it, or they're just waiting for you to get things right in your mind. If you stop and you listen to your heart, listen to your soul. You can do this. Just stop and listen. Listen to God. Listen to His angels. You can just stop, be silent, be quiet. Say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, and just listen to yourself. Listen to your true self. Listen to your higher self. Just listen. You know. And you may be surprised by the good things that can come in. Just sit and be with God and ask Him, cure me of this, remove this, take me to a better place, take me to a safe place, keep me safe. Don't let these thoughts come back. You know. I know that's not me. You can say that to yourself. I know that's not me. As an affirmation. You can say this. And others you can say, Raditu billahi rabban wa bil Islam dinan wa bi Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I am pleased with Allah as my Lord, and Islam as my religion, and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as my prophet. You can say these. This is very good. This is a good affirmation. This is very good. So know who you are. Once you know who you are, then the falsehood and doubts can more easily go away. And if you start to believe lies about yourself, just let them go. Just say, that's not who I am. Just say it. That's not who I am. That's not who I am. I know who I am, and that's not me. Okay. Another thing is like shame and embarrassment. Whatever you did in the past, don't ever speak about it. Just let it go. Let it disappear. The darkness is always falling into non-existence. It's always disappearing. That which is lasting, that has the baqa, the everlastingness with Allah. These are the good things. These are the light. These are the good deeds. Okay. Your sins, they can be forgiven. Not only that, they can be turned into good deeds. If you sincerely repent, you turn to God, you're like, I'm done with that forever. Whatever your sin, doesn't matter what it is. You turn to Him or you turn away from it forever, like, I'm done. He can actually take your sins and turn them into good deeds. That's how merciful He is. You turn to Him, you go to Him, He can fix everything, turn all the darkness out, give you a ton of light, and completely change your life. No matter what your sin is, no matter what your challenge is, no matter what your difficulty is, all of this can be undone, all of this can be fixed.